Yo, what is going on, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be covering a bunch of things that we can expect in terms of NXT improvements, etc. for the next 6 months, which is a rough ETA, but without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. Alright guys, so what we're going to be talking about, like I said, these are things that are expected for the next 6 months. This is a rough ETA, so, you know, if it's before or after, just keep it in mind. It has kind of like a leeway, so take a grain of salt with that one. Anyways, these are things specifically for the NXT client and just small little bits of improvements that'll make the game much better and run smoother, etc. So, first off, they're going to have a new animation system, which is going to smooth out a lot of those animations, basically. I don't really know the details of it, but yeah, there's going to be a new animation system in some form or fashion. It's going to work to bring the animations in a whole new light that we've never seen before, so I really don't know how it's going to, end up playing out in-game. We're going to have to wait and see, but that will be interesting. Anyways, they have a new program called Mira, which is a 3D software used for animations. What it does, it's going to help them create much more fluid looking animations, so not so jarring and rigid, I guess. As well as it lets them use motion capture, which I don't know if they're going to utilize that tool, but it is really useful for getting out animations much quicker. If you can motion capture it, you don't have to program each little tiny minute change in the 3D model, and you can just get it with motion capture. Really going to speed up the process for creating animations in general. So if they do utilize motion capture, that's going to mean a lot less work on the animation team, at least for those particular ones where they use the motion capture. So that's really good to hear. They'll also be working on mobile optimizations. I know mobile's not even out yet, but they're still going to be continuing working on it throughout the year, even post launch. So don't worry about that. There's still going to be continuous work even after launch, etc. So, it is what it is. Also, they're going to be upscaling, which I'm sure a lot of people are happy to hear about. So you'll be able to upscale your actual resolution of the game upwards to 4K resolution. For those of you who have really good, 4K monitors, you'll actually be able to use those pixels, which is really awesome to hear. I'm particularly not going to be invested in it. I'm still rocking at 1080p, but it's all good. I'm sure you'll be able to see RuneScape in a much more, stunning visuals than it is. I know it's not a super graphically intense or high fidelity game in terms of, the way it looks, aesthetics, etc. But 4K resolution on RuneScape probably looks pretty dang cool. Also with that, they're going to be bringing interface scaling, so I know a lot of people would be worried what's the sense of 4K resolution if all your icons, etc. look extremely tiny, because that's the problem with the way it works right now. The interface is like fixed to a certain size, so when you resize your resolution, those things don't really change in size, therefore they translate to being much smaller on a higher resolution render, so you'll be able to actually scale your interface sizes. He actually showed off in the live stream of, right-clicking and having your right-click extremely large just to show off that, upscaling. So that's actually really cool. But yeah, the good thing about all these changes, especially with the motion capture and the animations, etc., is because they said on the live stream that animation is the slowest thing in terms of the game development. It takes the most amount of time, unless obviously you do motion capture. So if they do start incorporating motion capture, that's really going to cut down in game development for a lot of things. You can expect bosses to come out much smoother, NPCs to come out more, even quests can be done much faster when they start incorporating these kinds of things to the animation. So that is really exciting, and hopefully that means we're going to get more speedy updates in the future. Now, I talked about previously in my last video about how mobile has been actually bringing in improvements to the NXT itself. So just the fact that they're making mobile has had a positive impact on NXT, and we're going to talk about that really briefly right here. So they've made it so they're able to get volumetric lighting to work on Intel. Previously, I guess it was an issue for some PCs using Intel, maybe all using Intel. I'm not too particularly versed in it, but apparently they fixed an issue with Adreno. I don't know what that is, but they'll also be able to remove something known as COM app when mobile is released. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe you guys do, but they have a lot of plugins in RuneScape to the HTML5 code where COM app helps with the interactions with a bank chest, faces, etc., chats, all those kinds of things. And once they remove it, those features like your bank, your chat, etc., those apparently will improve. I don't know how, what way, maybe it's faster, but yeah, they'll be able to get rid of com app, which I don't know, it's some kind of plugin for the HTML5 code that I guess slows things down or something, but they, I guess, needed to utilize it back in the day, which they wouldn't be able to, or wouldn't need to actually anymore, so that'll be getting removed, that com app thing, whatever it is. I'm sorry, I don't know much about what that is, but all I know is it's going to be an improvement to features like the banks, chats, and some things similar like interfaces, etc. Also, mobile has made an impact on NXT by making it so slow laptops with bad GPUs, but an okay CPU can utilize angle mode, which is a sophomore mode, which actually hasn't been updated for 3 years, and they still support XP and Windows Vista. And the reason why they haven't updated it is because it would currently, if they did, it would break those systems and you wouldn't be able to play RuneScape on Windows XP or Vista if anybody had to still use those. However, with mobile, they were able to update it and it will no longer be an issue. So any of those low-ass laptops with crappy graphics cards but decent CPUs will still be able to run RuneScape, which is pretty phenomenal that they still cater to those old systems. But I mean, it is holding them back to an extent, but at the same time, from a customer standpoint or from a consumer standpoint, it's pretty impressive that they still cater to people who still utilize those very old machines. Anyways, that pretty much it wraps up for the video. Hopefully some of that information was interesting or useful. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed and you want to stay updated on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I am out. Peace.